Whenever I perform that piece, people get the wrong idea, and I get dudes coming up to me after the show just speaking their mind on all types of shit. And there was this one guy who was talking about what he wants in a partner, and he kept on telling me that he wants to find himself a good woman. A woman who can hold him down with two hands, who doesn't need any input but knows how to make the perfect plans. A woman with infinite supply but limited demand. He said he wants a woman who could bend for him but always kneels before the Lord, who doesn't watch his pockets and can afford her own things. Meek, submissive, and quiet, but brazen enough to have her own. She needs to have her own job while being able to maintain a home, bearer of his children, but always has time to listen to his childish needs. A woman who somehow never needed a man before. So I'm just sitting here thinking, like, the fuck does she need you for? It sounds like she's doing all the work. Probably gonna have her ironing your shirts after zipping up her skirt. Making sure y'all are both ready for work, except your job starts at 9 a.m. and hers started the moment she said I do. She's been sick of this shit. That's why she sneezes every time she looks at you. And you still expect her to provide all the blessings. Her mama probably told her to never accept anything less than, so that's why you have to try and make her feel less than, and now she just feels less and less when you grab onto her hand. Got her cringing like the sound of nails on a chalkboard. It just doesn't feel right, and she knows it. Just how she knows she shouldn't have to remind you that her favorite flowers are roses, or that she prefers her margaritas frozen, or to close the window when it's open, and that she was really hoping to catch a Boyz II Men concert this year. But you're too busy worried about your hurt, projecting your fears. And now she's crying over somebody willfully blind to her tears, watching the fantasies of her later years disappear into ruined makeup. She'll probably come up with a million reasons to stay until it's already too late. Because by then she'll have already lived twice, living life for the both of you. So fellas, I don't mean to ask the most of you, but before you worry about finding yourself a good woman, just make sure you're a good man first. Operate from a place of want, not a state of thirst. Box up your ego, place it in a hearse, because there is nothing worse than a man in constant competition with his partner. Be able to lend a hand, but ready to receive. My bad. Let me run that back. Box up your ego, place it in a hearse, because there is nothing worse than a man in constant competition with his partner. Be a man who's ready to receive, but also able to lend a hand. Well-mannered, but still knows how to protect and defend. Someone she can really tend to, because she knows she'll be tended to. But most importantly, be at one with yourself. Be at ease, because nothing forced or coerced is ever really worth it. Everything that's meant to be yours will eventually come to the surface. Thank you. Thank you. That was my first time performing that piece, so I was like trying to piece it together while I was going through it. But anyway, thank you. I have one more poem for y'all, and it's a complete vibe switch. But I think I started writing a lot of my poetry about struggles that I faced as a black person in this country. And over the years, I've had to understand just how many similarities there are between struggles all over the world. And part of me just felt wrong staying silent on things that went on beyond myself, so I started trying to speak for others that couldn't speak for themselves. So, I'm not the most talented poet. I know. My words don't know how to play with each other. Instead, they stand together in solidarity because they understand that it's only together they'll be able to get my message across. I don't write the most vivid imagery because I no longer see images vividly. All the images in my head are streaked with blood and blotched by collapsed cities, and I'm sorry if I make the shitty sound shitty, but I'm not God. I can't make sense of senseless killings. I can't force the hurting to trigger their healing, and I can't put a muzzle on the trigger when the hurting gets a squeezing. See, if we're being honest, as a poet, I'm rather pitiful. Poetry has the power to change the world and provide answers, and my poetry only changes the number of questions I can't answer. My rhyme schemes are inconsistent and elementary. My vocabulary is nothing but rudimentary. My metaphors are greasy paper bags, fragrant at best and easy to pick apart. Yet my poetry knows that I can't just pick a part of oppression to oppose. My prose has been home to the struggles of my people for as long as I've known the color of violets and roses. But the world has known bigotry and hatred long before our tongues were colonized, so I can't act like we're the only ones with our race weaponized, having weapons and lies turned against our temples while our bodies end up lying in temples next to weapons they say we shot ourselves with. And I haven't lined my shelves with history books so that I can look the other way when history looks a little too similar to its predecessors. And I can't face my predecessors knowing that I sit on my hands while the hands of colonization take more brown throats into their grip, and so I write. My poetry is the most beautiful, but it helps to soothe my soul at night. My words don't know how to play with each other, but they play melodies and symphonies that I can't otherwise sing. I don't write the most vivid imagery, but I can paint a picture of a bell that rings. It rings for bodies found beneath rubble. It rings for children whose ears will forever ring with the whistles of bomb bursting in the air, finding out that their flag is no longer there. It rings for parents, grandparents, cousins who will never get to ring funeral bells for their loss because they can't lose a single second standing still, mourning their loss. It rings for freedom. It rings for freedom until we are all free. Thank you. Thank you. You guys have been amazing. Thank you. If you want to find more of me, you can find me on Instagram at Jean__. That's JEAN _. Thank you, Steph, for having me out here, and thank y'all for being here.
So fun fact, oh, that's a little high, but it's going to take a work. Fun fact, I actually met Jean, well, I met him through a friend, but I went to an open mic that he did, and that was actually the first open mic that I ever did. I saw him perform, and I was like, oh wait, my turn, like I want to get up there, and I did it. So, like, shout out to Jean for that energy that he did. And next up, we have Meghan Dhawan. Let me know if you need help adjusting the mic. Yeah. Let's see how they do it. Woo! Oh, hold on. I'm very small, so. And I'm gonna rewind a little bit so you have the whole time.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Hi everyone. Hi. How are we doing? Good. Love to see it. I just want to say, first of all, thank you to Steph for hosting. I know this was something that she's had in mind and like wanted to come to fruition for so long, so I want to give her the respect and gratitude that she deserves. And also, big hand to the poets that came before me. Like, y'all are awesome. I'm like kind of intimidated. Also, Jean, I know why they call you Jean, because jeans. You're like bringing the Canadian tuxedo today. Like, as a Canadian, I'm offended. Like, I should be wearing your fit right now. As it should be. So, my name is Meghan. I'm a Canadian Jersey girl. I'm a poet. I write things. I performed at like story slams. I do a lot of things. I like voice acting. I like doing a lot of different things. So, a lot of my poetry centers around hierarchies, parasitism. I like to dig under the skin. So, yeah. Now I know what you're into. That's cool. This poem is called Flake. I'm bleeding again, but not from where you might think. My flesh is decaying before your very eyes. When you speak of average things, ones we have decided are universally cool, I don't know how to contribute. Why? I just met you. I don't want to know about your zodiac sign, your rising moon, your falling grace. I can barely feel my face. That brown patch darker than the rest. It starts to sting, relieving it with my claws like a wolf hungry at night. It will hopefully satiate my thirst for a grander conversation. I've forgotten what it is like to communicate locally. And I only know how to yell emphatically. If I had 3 wishes, the first one would be obvious. I wish I could just be normal. Walking through pardoning particles of flesh would help weed out who to trust in the wake of night, when all you have is the company of your sweatshirt sleeve loosely holding the bark of your tree. And I just want to be free. There's something really wrong with me. I want to care about the trivial pursuits of everyone's favorite rom-com, or how advanced they are in their workout routine, but how can I when the world is falling apart? And I'm no saint. No, not at all. I tried my best to be the good girl, batting my eyelashes, taking orders on command, never knowing how to stand up for myself. There is terrorism in silence, and that can also start when you shut off your autonomy, when you allow other people to take your place and deny your fucking space. Woo! I am not the victim, no. I'm telling it like it is. But if you saw me on the street, I would answer you like starry skies, up on my tiptoes to pray that the next sentence is a fun one that I can only answer on the fly, but not about how your relative died. And let me play my own devil's advocate, because I care about that. I really do. But we all gotta learn how to read the room and when it's time to move through the busy streets.